Welcome to Guns, Guns, Gear, and Guns with Gary Gunderson. I am Gary Gunderson. Time to check back in with our favorite tyrannical governor, Governor Grisham of New Mexico, who held a press conference to report on the results of her gun violence emergency health order, which also attempted to circumvent the Second Amendment and New Mexico Constitution.
We have far too many firearms in our communities.
Too many illegal firearms or firearms used in crimes. The firearms possessed by law-abiding citizens, which would be most of them, are by definition not an issue. More law-abiding citizens carrying firearms actually means less crime.
And we're going to keep at it until there's not a single person in New Mexico who doesn't feel like we're turning the corner and that we have firearms away from places that are sensitive and ought to be sacred in the context of who we're protecting.
Now that is an unrealistic goal. Even her initial health order had specific qualifications, as stupid as they were. But there will be a large group of gun control nuts who do not feel safe unless every firearm is considered illegal.
And gun violence is a contagious disease, and it's one that's running rampant in New Mexico today. We also, though, need to break the cycle of transmission.
I know you think by couching this in COVID language that you can use government overreach to cram down whatever you want, but that is the path to idiocy.
We know nationwide and in New Mexico, gun violence is one of the leading causes of death in young people.
You know, credit where it is due. At least he said one of the leading causes. Most of the time they lie with that stat that includes actual adults, saying that is the #1 death among kids. Good for getting that right.
Across the country.
Isn't it the leading cause of death of children in the United States now?
It is, yes, ma'am.
Well, crap.
Leading cause of death of children. Gun violence. I have trouble saying that out loud. Doesn't make any less true.
It's fiction.
We do have a gun violence epidemic in the state. I don't think there is, frankly, any argument about that.
I disagree, so that's not true. Many people disagree because you're using the term epidemic, not bad or just problem.
That the more guns you have in the streets, the less safe it is. Period.
Unless the guns in the streets are being carried by law-abiding citizens, particularly those who have carry permits, who commit crime at a lower rate than police officers, but you wanted to ban them from carrying as well.
But this was a pause, given that every single day gunshots are fired, and nearly every single day someone is injured or murdered.
Glad you can ignore rights and the Constitution just a little bit with a pause.
I would do it again. And I'm likely to keep doing things in this public health order.
Oh goody, what rights are you going to violate next?
Is there anyone here that doesn't think we also have a behavioral health lack of access public health emergency?
So, committing people who don't agree with you for mental health reasons? Is that what you're going for next time?
Because I have the same responsibility that I have constitutionally to gun owners, to non-gun owners.
And yet you made it illegal for one group to exercise their rights at all with a governmental decree. It seems you don't treat these groups the same at all.
And I think that when it comes to gun violence, people are terrified to call it out. Because when you do, your own life is at risk.
It's a hard life being a tyrant.
And I am unapologetic about it. But I will say this, you can see why elected individuals who are policymakers are so nervous about setting high standards for committing to improving public safety.
Good to know that despite the injunction blocking part of the unconstitutional order, she has not reflected upon pursuing such an obviously illegal path. And yeah, if you had an emergency order where you banned everyone from driving, there would be less car accidents. That doesn't mean you should do it. You can't just ignore the limits of your power just to achieve a standard of safety. The problem is she comes out all smug because crime is down, but that's because her emergency declaration is doing 20 things at once. And just because some of them work, she assumes she is in the right for all of it. The parts of her emergency order where she is not violating the Constitution has some merit, though I would argue that most of the changes are things that should have been in place the whole time.
That violent repeat offenders under the current laws can be detained.
Did you not think of that before stepping on the rights of your citizens?
We put out a directive indicating that youth offenders who are in possession of a firearm will be detained.
How is that not already the law?
3 of them were in possession of a stolen vehicle and were fleeing officers. And so this directive has given us the ability to take those youthful offenders and take them off the streets and detain them, which we wouldn't otherwise have done previously.
Are you joking? A teenager with a firearm in a stolen vehicle in a high-speed chase with the cops is stopped, and before this executive order, they wouldn't be detained? Try that first. What is wrong with you? Yes, arrest the person committing 3 felonies at once. Brilliant. I'm amazed you figured that one out. Too bad instead of doing that by itself, you also decided to piss on the Constitution at the same time. What do you think about this governor's latest press conference? Is it any better than the others? Do you think she has learned her lesson? I would say probably not. Let me know in the comments below. Please like the video, share it with others, and subscribe to the channel for more content. Also, consider supporting me on Patreon and check out the Discord channel as well. Thanks for watching.